Hi, we will learn about tax invoice in this chapter. The main points we are going to cover are tax invoice and its contents, manner of issuing invoice, time limit for issuing invoice, e-invoicing system, fake invoice, penalties, etc. Straight away, let us understand what is tax invoice. A tax invoice is a commercial instrument that is issued to the buyers or recipient of goods and services whenever any goods or services are supplied. Okay, and a registered taxable person should issue a tax invoice at any time as per the GST law provisions. And there is an exemption only for composition scheme persons, because composition scheme persons cannot collect tax, so they cannot issue a tax invoice. All other registered taxable persons should issue a tax invoice. And whether we can issue it manually or electronically, yes, we can do it either way. You can issue a manual invoice, or you can print it in a software and you issue electronically. Then issuance of e-invoice is mandatory for persons as per the law. So we will see it in detail later. So coming to tax invoice contents, let us see what all are there in an invoice. Name, address and GST number of the supplier, serial number of the invoice, date of its issue, recipient name if he is registered, and all other details like the GST number, place of business, address, etc. Then if the unregistered buyer is there, then if the value is more than 50,000, then details should be there, of course. Then HSN code for goods and SAC code for services, description of goods and services, quantity in case of goods, total value of supply of goods or services, or both, means taxable value. Then value should be there, quantity should be there, then taxable value should be there, rate of tax, whether it is 5%, 12%, 18% or 28%, like that. Then amount of tax in words and figures. Then place of supply along with the name of the state. Then address of the delivery, where the same is different from the place of supply. Sometimes what happen is a person from Mumbai will order and he will tell to deliver the goods in Goa. So both places should be given. Then details of reverse charge mechanism, RCM, whether tax is payable on reverse charge basis, and signature or digital signature. So all these contents should be there. There can be any format, but all these contents should be there. Then I have given here a format of the sales invoice or tax invoice. Okay, you can see all details which I told a little earlier is there. Okay, then manner of issuing invoice in case of goods. See, there are 3 copies. One is original, then duplicate and triplicate. The original invoice should be issued to the customer. The duplicate should be issued to the transporter, and triplicate can be filed and should be kept in record for the company or the business. Okay, so there are 3 copies of the tax invoice in case of goods. Then see, you may ask a question, when we should issue a tax invoice? Okay, so if the supply involves movement of goods, means goods has to be delivered by the supplier, then in that case removal of goods is the time of supply, or before or at the time of removal we should issue a tax invoice, before or at the time of removal. Then in any other case, delivery of goods or making available goods to the recipient, suppose we are telling the buyer, come and take it from the factory or showroom, then when the customer comes, we should issue a invoice. So let us take a small case study. Marvel Manufacturers, Baroda, supplies goods to Messrs. Lignite Traders, Pune. The goods were removed from its factory in Baroda on 21st June 2022. So the removal of goods happened on 21st June. So in this case, the company has to issue the tax invoice on the same date. Okay, no exemption for that. So on the same date of removal, they should issue a tax invoice. Manner of issuing invoice in case of services. See, in case of goods, we had seen there should be 3 copies. But in case of service, there should be only 2 copies. Why? In case of goods, there is a transporter. But in case of service, there is no need for a transporter. Okay. So, original should be issued to the customer and duplicate should be recorded by the, should be kept in the file by the supplier. Then, what is the time limit for issue of tax invoice for services? The time limit is within 30 days from the date of supply of service. Suppose you are getting my service. I am a chartered accountant. So suppose I am auditing your business, okay, or any other certification, whatever it may be. So I provided service to you on 1st April. I should issue a tax invoice before April 30. That is the rule. Okay. And in case of insurer, banking company, financial institution or non-banking financial company, 45 days is allowed. Okay, from the date of supply of service. And in case of insurer, banking company, financial institution, non-banking financial company, telecom operator or any such notified businesses, before or at the time of such supplier records the same in his books of accounts or before the expiry of the quarter during which the supply was made. That is a time period. But usually you remember, in case of supply of service, 30 days is the time limit. Then let us study about e-invoice. It is very important concept nowadays. See, e-invoice, I will read this para. Notified class of registered persons have to prepare invoice by uploading specified particulars of invoice. That is in form GST INV 01. That is a invoice form on invoice registration portal. So there is a registration portal by the government, and obtain an invoice reference number, that is IRN. Okay, so we have an invoice, we have to upload it in the government portal, that is IRP, invoice registration portal, and we will get a invoice reference number. So you can see the image, there is a QR code and all. Okay, so that is a IRN with QR code. Okay, and there is a integrated electronic format between the supplier and the buyer. Okay, that will be facilitated by the accounting softwares or ERPs nowadays. You don't want to bother much. Okay, and see, e-invoice doesn't mean generation of invoice in the government portal. There is a misconception. Okay, so that you should not think like that. It is actually generating in our software and getting a invoice reference number IRN from the government. Then what are the advantages of e-invoice? Auto reporting of invoices into GST returns, so it will be automatically reflecting in our GSTR 1 and all. Then auto generation of e-way bill whenever it is required, means more than 50,000 and all. Then standardization and interoperability leading to overall business efficiency, means it may avoid disputes between the supplier and buyer, improve payment cycles, reduction of processing costs. All those are the advantages. Then I already told, the ERP or the accounting software will take care of it. Okay, you don't want to do nothing else. Okay, then legally valid only with the IRN. Your invoice will be valid only with the IRN, invoice reference number. Then from 1st October 2022, if any business had achieved a turnover of 10 crore in any financial year between 2017-18 to 2021-22, they have to adopt e-invoice. Okay, so 10 crores is the limit for e-invoicing. Okay, and you can generate a invoice. You have to upload the details. Okay, so that should be done in the website EInvoice 1.gst.gov.in. Then at last we have another important point, that is maintenance of records. See, you please remember, you have to maintain all records specified by the GST law. Later there should not be any complication, or there should not be any dispute between the GST department. So the record should be kept in the principal place of business and in any additional place of business where business is carried on. Okay, which is given in the registration certificate. Then for how long it should be kept? The period of storing of books of accounts is, the formula is like this: due date of furnishing of annual return, due date of furnishing of annual return plus 72 months, that is 6 years. For example, for the year 2021-22, suppose the due date is 31st December 2022. Then from 31st December to 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. 2028 December 31st. That is a maximum period we need to keep the records. Okay. Then there is another concept, fake invoice. I already explained you what are the contents should be there in the invoice. If it is not there, then it is becoming a fake invoice. We should take care to not to issue a fake invoice. Okay, so you need to check and confirm whether all details are there in your tax invoice. So why a fake invoice is issued is to avoid undue input tax credit, or avoid GST or income tax, or to claim GST refunds, etc. Then there is a penalty whenever there is a chance of fake invoice or any other faults from your end, like cancellation of GST registration. Your GST IN may get flagged by the GST department and they will be watching you. Then input tax credit availed by you by error or fraudulently, then it will be recovered or reversed. Then penalty can be imposed, which is equal to the amount of tax avoided or ITC availed, and there can be a chance of cognizable and non-bailable offense where it can reach up to imprisonment. So severe penalties are there. Take care. Then who are the responsible persons? See, please note that everybody who is involved in the making of any fake invoice or any such offense is punishable. Means whosoever commits the offense or causes to commit the offense, also who retains any benefit arising out of these offenses, will be punished. So in this chapter we have seen tax invoice, e-invoice, and all other related points. Hope it is clear. Thank you.